Hello everybody, it's Gary Halakan here, and today we are rounding out our team of fake Figma Guyvers with the Guyver 3 figure. So this is the Max Factory Figma Guyver 3, it's number 333, and of course this one is a fake from Temu, just like the other two that I've reviewed before. And this one I think is maybe a little easier to tell it's a fake if we look at the box, because the pictures on this box are not very vibrant at all. You can kind of see here that you can't really see anything. Now, of course, his armor is all black, so that contributes to that a little bit. But these pictures are basically in shadow. These pictures look like they were printed at low resolution on, a printer that's running out of ink, right? Not very vibrant at all, and no barcode on this one either. So we have some indications of the fakeness on this one. But otherwise, we've got some pictures on each side of the box, and those pictures there. I know you can't really see the figure in the box here because of the coloring, but we will get him out in just a second. This guy should be the tallest of all of our Guyver units, and he should be the most spiky as well. These other two were pretty decent figures, so hopefully this one will be too. Let's go ahead and get him out and see what we think. So here is Guyver 3 out of the package, and I think in some ways he may be the best of the three Guyver figures I've looked at. He's definitely the biggest of all of them, and he has the most accessories, and arguably has the best painting and detail out of all of them, though the Guyver 2 figure is pretty good on that front. He does, of course, have some issues for sure. I think just from a design standpoint, the chest is way too narrow on him. Makes the proportions look kind of funny. He should have a bigger, beefier chest, and it would make the figure look a lot better. And then from a quality control standpoint, there are, of course, a few issues. So there is this brown piece that's sort of the undersuit kind of piece there that was a little bit mangled and bent out of place right out of the package. And as he comes around again here, you'll see that like the other ones, he has the silver on his belt off center pretty bad. But that's really it for the aesthetic quality control issues. Otherwise, the aesthetics are pretty good on this guy. The head sculpt is very good and clean, and the paint on the head is pretty good and clean. So, overall looks very cool. I just wish the proportions were better. Now, he does have one more issue, though, that may drive you insane as you are working with this figure, and that is he has twice as many arm blades as the other figures. So that means twice as many tiny little pieces to fall off and be lost into the ether as you are bending the arms. So we will see as we look at articulation and accessories, we'll see how easy those are to fall off. And I think they're going to be pretty easy, and that may drive you crazy as you are looking at this figure. But overall, the aesthetics are very good on this one. And like I said, in a lot of ways, you could probably say that he's the best of these three Guyver figures. Okay, so let's look at articulation next. Okay, so for articulation, we've got a little bit of look up, not very much. You got to be careful moving the head on this guy because it's very spiky. And when you tilt his head upward, it seems like it wants to tilt to the side. So something is in there, but gives us a little bit of look up. We get pretty good look down. Some tilt side to side. There goes one arm blade. And twist, but you can't twist very far. It seems like the neck pieces on him connect to the head more than they did on the other two. So you can't really twist the head all that far. Then at the arms, we've got past horizontal. So that's pretty good there. And all the way around here. Little bit of forward and back. Got bicep swivel. We lose the arm blades. At the elbow, we've got just about that far, so just about 90 degrees with the elbow. And then we have at the wrist, swivel and hinge at the wrist. So then at the chest, we've got a speck of crunch forward. I still have yet to show you any figures on the channel that really have a lot of forward crunch. And just a speck of lean back, so not very much crunch forward or back. Very good tilt side to side. Of course, can twist at the chest and at the waist. The waist doesn't twist real well because, like I said, there's this piece that's kind of bent out of place a little bit. And then at the legs, we've got, without moving them to the side, we've got up about that far. And if you move them to the side some, we can get up farther than that. We've got pretty much full splits. A little bit of swiveling there. Single knee, but goes a little past 90 degrees. And then at the foot, we've got up that far, down that far. The ankle armor limits the foot a little bit. And we do have a toe there. And a little bit of pivot. So articulation is not bad on this guy. You can see, though, that as I moved the arms, the arm blades came right off. Otherwise, though, articulation is pretty good. And like I said, he has more accessories than the other two figures, including one that is a very nice surprise. So let's look at those next. So first up for accessories, he has some alternate chest plates, including this one, which appears to be, as far as I can tell, the exact same as the one that is on him out of the package. There doesn't seem to be any difference between this chest plate and the one that's on him. I suspect that in the original figure, one of these is meant to go with the crossed arms accessory, which is this here. But both of these are exactly the same. So you can switch them. Pull this one off. Put this one on. But as I said, they don't seem to be any different at all. Except that that one didn't want to stay on. There we go. So I don't see the difference there. Like I said, I suspect that with the original figure, there was an alternate chest plate to go with the crossed arms accessory. So this looks pretty good. This is a static set of crossed arms, and you can see the right hand on here, right? So that replicates, one of his classic poses. This, however, is a total nightmare to try to install on him. So you'd remove these pegs, and then you'd have to try to fit the shoulder pegs into these holes. So you can see here, the arm should pull right off. Here we go. But when you do pull the arm off, you have this kind of cup piece that went around the shoulder. And then you got to try to fit that peg into here and then fit it onto the other side. So it's a mess to try to get that on there. So I would just kind of show you like that, what it would look like. It would look good if it worked easily. And then his other alternate chest plate is the most important one, because this is going to be the Mega Smasher chest plate. And this one is like the one that came with the Guyver 1 figure, in that it is an opening chest plate. So you could leave that one on him all the time and have the opening Mega Smasher. If we can get it to fit on here. So this one doesn't seem to want to fit as well as the other ones. It's a little kind of pinched in at the sides here. Okay, so I did get the Mega Smasher chest plate on him, but it doesn't want to fit really well, and it looks a little bit misshapen compared to the other chest plates, so maybe not the best results here, but we can open it and reveal the Mega Smasher. So what it looks like these pieces might be on backwards, actually. Or at least one of them is. Let me see if I can fix that. Okay, so upon closer inspection, I've determined that the issue with the Mega Smasher chest plate is that these are actually the same piece twice. instead of being mirrored pieces like they're supposed to be for the chest plate, these are the same piece on there twice. So that causes it to look pretty funky there. But we do have the opening Mega Smasher, and we have some good detail on the inside there. So then we do have the longer arm blades, and these are pretty impressive. So he's got much longer arm blades. We'll see how well they stay on here. There we go. So those are very impressive. His extra long arm blades there. They feel a little bit sturdier in place than the regular small ones. So hopefully they will stay on well. But those look really cool. And then we have a lot of hands. So we have open hands, and we have holding things hands, sort of, mostly closed holding things hands. And we have, looks to be like sword holding hands, right? So holding hands that are tilted forward a little bit. And then we have the hands that we could use for holding open the Mega Smasher. And all of these are pretty good. They're black and brown and painted pretty well. He, of course, doesn't come with anything to hold. So we've got these two sets of holding hands and not really anything to hold. And then, for our last major accessory, we do have a Guyver unit. So I didn't expect this one to be in the sort of Guyver 1 colors there. I guess depending on which version you're reading or watching, all the Guyver units look the same, but I think he could have come with a Guyver unit that was, black and brown to be in line with his color scheme. It is, however, very good. A very good Guyver unit. Can't really hold it or anything, but it looks really nice. All right, so then for his last accessory, and this is the one that's the big surprise. If you've been watching my recent videos where I've been looking at these fake Figma figures, you've seen that none of the stands have ever been any good. Finally, we get one that works okay. So the arm actually fits into the base. This piece, however, fits very, very tightly onto here, but it does mostly fit into his back. You got to work it in there a little bit, but it will kind of fit. So we get, the least awful stand out of any of the ones I've looked at so far. So that should help us pull off some dramatic poses. Okay, let's do some size comparisons next. So you have been seeing him for the whole video compared with the Figma Guyver 1 and Guyver 2 figures. So you can see he's the biggest of all of the Guyvers, and that is correct. He should be the tallest one of all of them, and he's pretty significantly taller, almost a head taller than Guyver 1, as you can see here. So pretty impressive looking figure, especially once you've got the arm blades on him. Here is a Marvel Legends figure. So here is Marvel Legends Captain Marvel. So these Figmas are definitely in a smaller scale than the Marvel Legends, but Guyver 3 here comes close to being as tall as a Marvel Legends figure. Here is a McFarlane DC Multiverse figure. So there's Troika Batman, of course much bigger than the Figma figures. Here is a standard 12-ounce beverage can. And here is John Cena. So that is the fake Figma Guyver 3 figure that is available on Temu. And please stay tuned for some dramatic poses. I'll definitely be doing some with this guy. And overall, I would say this one is quite good. I don't think you will be disappointed in this one, especially at the price point. It's very impressive looking, especially when you get the long blades on there. Paint and detail is all pretty good. Feel is pretty good on this one. Doesn't feel like it's going to fall apart or anything. Just the arm blades falling off is the main thing in that area. Definitely has some issues, like with the chest plate. But overall, I think this one is very good and arguably the best of all three of them. The most important thing to me is having all three Guyver units here together and being able to pose them together, and that looks very cool. So, like I said, stay tuned for dramatic poses. Let me know in the comments if you have this figure. Let me know if you have the real one. Let me know which of the three Guyver units is your favorite. Let me know what else is cool, and we'll see you in the next review.